Hello there everyone, we're going to learn about musical form today. So on the board it's lesson number 4 and we're going to start with the SMART section. Musical form is another way of talking about the way that blocks of ideas in a piece of music are put together. In a song it might be verses and choruses, with extra bits like introductions and the bridge, middle eight. So it's an idea that you're quite familiar with, but we're going to look at it in music that is instrumental and not songs as such. The first thing to understand is that if you want to make a piece of music longer, there's only two things you can do really. You can either repeat an idea, like your first melody that you come up with, or you have to come up with something different. Now, coming up with something different also helps to make the music more interesting as well. It's a really good idea to repeat ideas as well, because people who are listening get to know them and they can enjoy the music a bit more by recognising things they've already heard. Pop songs rely on repetition a lot to get their popularity across very quickly. If you repeat, you use the same ideas. So if we call the first idea A, it's just there, you can see it just there, A, repeating over and over again. If you use different ideas, you can give each new idea a different letter. Most pieces of music only have 2 or maybe 3 ideas. Contrasting with different ideas makes it more interesting. One extra word, ostinato, is another thing that you can do, which is repeating not a whole section of music, but a tiny little idea, like a little rhythm or a little melody that you repeat over and over again, and it might be the background for a piece of music. It's an Italian word and it means obstinate. You know, it's like being stubborn, it doesn't go away, it keeps there all the time. We're going to be learning about the binary form. So it's basically 2 tunes and 2 sections. Binary means 2, like bicycle has 2 wheels. So binary form is like a two-part form. You get the first section, we'll call it A, and we'll get a contrasting section, which we'll call B. If we listen to this, we should be able to hear one idea. We should notice when it goes to a different idea. There should be changes in the music. There should be differences. Let's have a listen. See if you can spot them. Another way to do this would be think about how would you describe the music that's going on. First thing that happened when it changed to the B section, it went from this jolly little tune to having like long held on chords. So instead of shorter rhythmic melodies like there was in the first section, you've got long sustained held on notes in the instruments, in the violins and the cellos, playing long held on notes which together combine to make chords. Okay, so an example of binary form are suites. That's sets of pieces, usually for dancing too, so little sets of dances. J.S. Bach wrote a lot of these. He was from Germany and he lived from 1685 to 1750. So after you've listened for the first time, play the music again and see if you can answer these questions while the music is playing. The first one's done for you. So these questions aren't really related to the music. So here's a few questions to see how much of that you can remember. Okay, so we can have the music playing in the background. So binary form is in two parts, true. That's done for us. J.S. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, used binary form in his dance suites. I think we've just read that was true. Correct. Now this question is not accurate because it should say minuet and trio is an example of binary form. And it isn't. So it should be false. Johann Sebastian Bach was a German composer. Yep, true. The B section is the same as the A section, true or false. If the B section was the same as the A section, we would call it A again. Just have two A sections. So it's not the same, which means it's false. The violin plays the main tune in section A. Let's have a listen. Sounds like a violin to me. The string family play chords in section B. There are the chords, so that's true. The bassoon starts off section B. I don't know if you've noticed, but there aren't any bassoons playing. The only instruments are string instruments, like violins and cellos, and they're played with bows and plucked. So no bassoons. The violins are both bowed and plucked in section A. Well, if you listen, the violin's playing the tune, and then there's other violins plucking a little accompaniment in the background. So that is true. And then a final question from the beginning of this. Contrast means different. So repeating means the same. Contrast does mean different. Okay, so now is a little chance for you to have a test of what you've just learnt. We can do a little quiz here. So let's do the smart form quiz. There are 10 questions, multiple choice, so you could write down the number of the question and choose your letter to write the answer. If you want to write the full sentence and then add the word that is the correct one, then that information that you'll have there will be more useful for you to look at in the future. I'll give you some time. If you want to write down the first question, which one of these means ideas are played more than once? You could also answer in a full sentence if you like. The options are contrast, repetition, binary, rondo. Which one of these means ideas are played more than once? So if you think it's contrast, you could say contrast means ideas are played more than once. Or you could write down the question and then write the answer. Or you could write down number 1 and answer A. But obviously choose the answer that you think is right. Okay, question number 2. The most important reason composers use repetition and contrast is A, because they get paid more. B, to make their music more interesting. C, to show off their skill. And D, to make their pieces longer. Question 3. Which of these composers used binary form in their suites of dances? A, Beethoven. B, Grieg. C, J.S. Bach or D. Holst. And those are all names of real famous composers. Which one of those used binary form in their suites of dances? Question 4. Binary form has A. 1 section, B. 2 sections, C. 3 sections, D. 4 sections. Question 5. Which country was J.S. Bach from? Johann Sebastian Bach. Was he from England? That's A. B if you think he's from Italy. C if you think he was France. And D if you think that he came from Germany. Question number 6. In binary form, the sections can be called A is ABC, option B would be ABBA, option C could be ABACABA, or option D would be AABB. Question 7. Ostinato is an Italian word that means A. Play loudly, B. Obstinate, C. Play it lower, or D. Very fast. Question 8. An idea that repeats a lot in the background is called A. Contrast, B. Tempo, C. Ostinato, or D. Rhythm. Question 9. Usually different sections have different A. Tunes or melodies, B. Tempi, that's more than one tempo. Tempo, if you remember, is to do with the speed of the beat. C. Repetition, D. Ostinati, and that's the way we write when it's more than one ostinato. So what are the different sections? What is different about them? And then finally question 10. The word for more than one ostinato is ostinato, ostinatos, ostinata, or ostinati. Let's go to the top again and let's see if I can get all of these answers right. So which one of these means ideas are played more than once? More than once, an idea played more than once is going to be repetition, I think. Yes, well done, 100%. Next one. The most important reason composers use repetition and contrast is, well, it could be to make their pieces longer. That's an important reason, and it does do that. I think if you click that, you get half marks. But the main reason, the most important reason, is to make their music more interesting. B. Let's just click the other one to see. To make the pieces longer. Yes, but a longer piece of music may not be the most interesting. Half marks. Question 3. I hope you all got J.S. Bach. He used binary form in his sets of dances, suites they were called. Binary form has 2 sections. Which country was J.S. Bach from? I think would be Germany, the only one I've mentioned. Yes, he was born in a small town called Eisenach. And if you go there, you can visit his house that he was born in, and it's like a museum. You can go and visit there and have a little tour of his house. Number 6, in binary form the sections can be called This could have been quite tricky because it's D, but each section is repeated. So you've got A, then A again, then you've got B, and then B again. And quite often composers chose to do that. Another way of getting your binary contrasting ideas, but also using repetition to make the piece longer, to make the dance last for longer. That's right, A, B, but both sections are normally played twice. Your score is 100%. Hope you're doing well too. Ostinato is an Italian word that means obstinate. It's like a little repeating idea that never goes away. It's question 8. An idea that repeats a lot in the background is called ostinato. Question 9. Usually different sections have different, did you get tunes or melody? And finally, this was a bit of a giveaway question there. Ostinati is the plural for ostinato. Well done, thank you for listening and concentrating really well. The next level, smarter level, is going to look at ternary form, the 3-part form. Thank you for learning.